Good afternoon, everyone. This is Nitha Ramachandra from the NRR Sports Show. This is episode 1017. Happy Wednesday. We are live on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Speaker, on all the podcast platforms. We are joined by a really special guest. Her name is Diane Knox Balas. She's a golf analyst, podcaster, TV host, and she does work with the Picks show. And she was on the show with Jared and Lauren this morning and talk about the U.S. Open. Obviously, she's a busy lady in the sports world, getting ready for the U.S. Open. And first of all, Diane, thank you for joining the show. It's truly an honor. And fans, please tune in. You can ask questions to Diane today on our speaker app. So, Diane, thank you for joining the show. How are you and your family doing today?
Good. Thank you. What a lovely introduction. Thank you very much for asking me to be your guest. And yeah, great. As you say, busy week this week with the U.S. Open. So I'm working in golf. We're all about the four majors, and this being the third one of the year, it should be a very exciting.
Yeah, so like I said, fans, please tune in, ask questions to Diane today on our speaker app. First, Diane, I just want to say, by the way, before we get started, say congrats to you and your husband on your baby boy that's coming up soon. And how you feeling? And what's like you said earlier, it's a day-by-day process, but how are you feeling?
Yeah, good. He is due in November, Thanksgiving week actually. So it'll be a lovely time to, well, we can't really plan anything for Thanksgiving. My dog just turned my light off. So I'm just going to plug this in. Oh my gosh, this is the joys of having a puppy.
Yeah.
There we can see again. I don't know how I'm going to cope with a newborn baby and two bulldogs, but that'll be exciting. But yeah, great, thank you. Just finally getting over the sickness, which is nice.
Yeah,
and just enjoying it now.
Yeah, I just want to bring that out there so our fans know about it. So tell our fans, when did you get interested in the game of golf, and what interested you in golf? Obviously, it's a growing sport. I love watching golf, and actually, we'll get to this later. We actually covered the LPGa tournament up in Upper Montclair, New Jersey. But for you, when did you get interested in the game of golf?
I think it's always been in my life because my brother, Russell Knox, plays on the PGA Tour.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So he started playing golf, obviously, from a very young age. My dad played. They were members of a club that we used to spend a lot of time at. So it wasn't necessarily a sport that I played a lot growing up, but I was around it all the time. So I knew about it. I had good golf knowledge from a young age, I guess. And then when my brother turned professional, obviously started playing on some mini tours before making his way up to the PGA Tour. I could always talk about golf, and I'd moved over to the US in 2016. I was like, well, I don't really know what I'm going to do, and just kind of fell into merging the two, the media experience I had and the golf knowledge I had, and it's been great. I've never looked back. So it's as you say, it's one of those sports that more and more people, I think, are becoming more interested in. We've obviously had a lot of news in the golf world over the last couple of weeks that has got people's attention. But it's it's a great industry to work in, and I love it. I feel very lucky.
Is your brother competing in the U.S. Open this year?
No, he's not, and he got sick actually. Oh, wow. He hasn't been feeling very well, so he was going to play in the qualifier last Monday, but he had to come home. He just wasn't feeling very well, so it'll be 2 weeks at home just to try and get better, and then he'll play next week, which is a tournament he's won before, so that'll be exciting for him up at the Travelers Championship. But yeah, I wish he was playing. It's always more exciting for me to be able to watch golf when he's competing as well as for work. But yeah.
So tell our fans, did you get to play golf while you were younger? And if so, who are some of the golfers that you looked up to while growing up?
I didn't really start playing golf until I was probably like late teens, maybe early 20s, and I still don't actually play all that much. I live in Florida now, and it's so hot all the time, especially in the summer. The last thing I want to do is be walking around a golf course for 4 hours. But I like to go to the range and hit balls, and I actually haven't hit balls in months. I don't know how it's going to be now that I have this new belly that's growing, but I'll have to the age that I am, I'm like late 30s now. The golfer that dominated when I was of the age of really paying attention to golf was Tiger, and I think anyone in their 30s would definitely say that. So it's been incredible to watch how he's obviously had an incredible career, but how he's almost superhuman and he's come back from adversity and injury and near-death experience to next month.
Oh, yeah. So speaking of speaking of Florida, actually, I'm going to Florida this Sunday, so I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. How hot is it over there right now?
I just saw that we have a heat advisory right now, and I think that we're breaking all records for the heat this week. I've 98 degrees today, but it's the humidity is just the killer. So it's my eldest dog, Bowser. It's his 7th birthday today.
Oh, happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. And they're English bulldogs, so they don't do very well in the heat.
Oh, wow.
And I feel really guilty because I'm like, I want to take him out to do fun stuff for his birthday later, but oh my gosh, it's so hot. What part of Florida are you going to?
So we're visiting Orlando, where my grandparents live in Mount Dora, and then visiting my friends there in Tampa, and my brother West Palm, so all over the place.
Yeah, to go everywhere. Those are some great places to visit.
Yeah, work and party too. So
good. That's the way to do it.
Yeah, so we are live with golf analyst Diane Knox Balas. We already have a fan question for you. Someone wants to know how is it tough? They want to know how tough is it sometimes to keep up with all these golfers that are competing in one tournament.
Yeah, it's a lot. Sometimes it's very difficult, but you know, obviously you are looking at the guys that are really in contention.
Yeah.
When the tournament starts. It's really before the tournament that's the hard bit, because you have to make sure that you've done all your research, that you're looking at all the players, their stats, how their game is, how they've been playing lately, then how they match up to the golf course requirements. And then you have all the, you know, news and press conferences and stuff that you have to absorb as well. So there's a lot to keep up with for sure. But I tell you, Twitter is amazing for that. There's definitely a necessary evil to all these social media platforms, but Twitter is great because you can constantly be absorbing information, you know, in the golf world.
Yeah, so speaking of the golf, like you said, you mentioned Tiger Woods earlier, and if you want to go on the women's side, the legendary Nancy Lopez, if you want to talk about her. So what has Tiger Woods and Nancy Lopez has meant to the game of golf on the men and women's side?
Yeah, just incredible. I mean, Tiger, we touched on it, and I think the fact that he's still Tiger changed the game for everyone. Yeah. He changed the exposure and the money. I mean, these guys are obviously making a lot of money now, not as much compared to the Live Golf Tour that has been controversial over the past few weeks. But yeah, I mean, of course they are. Golf, Tiger really just made the golf industry what it is, and he's still the biggest draw, which is just incredible that after all these years, he's still the one person that we want to see do well and go out there and win, break all the records. And then Nancy Lopez, I've met her a couple of times actually, and she is the nicest, fun lady. I met her at the PGA merchandise show actually for the first time, and I was doing a radio show down there and she came on the show. But again, just, you know, such an amazing icon in women's golf and somebody who's still so massively involved in the game, and a real mentor. I think, you know, that's the great thing about the LPGA Tour is seems so much closer than the guys on the PGA Tour. And Nancy Lopez still being so active, so many of those girls and women look up to her, and she really fulfills that mentor role. So I mean, we're very lucky to have her and the likes of Tiger. I mean, the list goes on of people that have really been so influential in the sport.
Yeah, actually, Nancy Lopez was there while we were covering the tournament in the Upper Montclair, New Jersey, the LPGA tournament. Okay. I didn't get to interview her, but I got to interview Marina Alex. She's a Jersey native, and she's a great golfer in the career. So what are your thoughts on the LPGA tournament and the growth of that sport? Obviously, women in sports is a big thing, and I'm a big advocate in that. I have 12 people who helps me out with this show, and 5 of them are females. So I'm a big advocate in that. Yeah. So for you, and especially for your own self, getting an opportunity just to cover the game of golf and seeing the growth of that.
Yeah, it's been great, and it's been great to see the strides that women's golf is taking. I mean, the US Open just a few weeks ago was the biggest purse that they'd ever seen in golf, and it's you know, you're seeing. So we talked about Nancy Lopez obviously being such a figurehead, but we're still seeing, you know, such amazing older women playing on the LPGA tour, as well as these young stars that are just coming out of the gate so hot, and it's inspirational to see it move through. The great thing about the LPGA tour now and women's golf is it's just, I know it's got a long way to go, but the platform is increasing so much. And I would tell everyone, if you love golf, and I'm not saying men's or women's golf, just golf in general, go to an LPGA tour event, because they are so amazing. And they just have a completely different feel to a PGA tour event. It seems friendlier, which is a funny word to use, but it's yeah, I always say that it's a real difference in the atmosphere when you're there, and they're amazing. They're so exciting. We've got incredible talent. Obviously, you know, the Corda sisters have done so much for the sport as it is right now, but it's yeah, I just love where the LPGA tour is going, and I just think that they're going to keep growing and heading in that direction.
And also there's a phenom coming up here, 16-year-old Anna Davis, who we got to cover too, and she's such an amazing, inspiring golfer there. And we got to cover Minjin Lee, Lexi Thompson, obviously, and then you got Sagstrom, another amazing woman there. So I really love the growth of this LPGA group.
I've been watching Ingrid Lindblad. I saw her playing at the Augusta National Women's Amateur, and then she was playing in the mixed event, Henrik Stenson's mixed event on the DP World Tour at the weekend, and she is unbelievable. Like, the things that she's going to achieve in her career already, her name is so out there because of the just insane talent that we're seeing from her fresh out of college. So I don't even know if she's finished college or not yet, but she's so young and she's going to have such a bright future ahead of her.
Yeah, so we got a couple of more fan questions in here that just came in. I love the fan interaction when this happens.
That's so nice.
Yeah, so one fan wants to know, what are some of your best moments so far as a golf analyst and a golf reporter and a host?
Oh my gosh, I've only worked really in golf media since 2016, and I've had so many. There's just been some amazing moments. I would say the absolute highlight has been when I covered the Ryder Cup last September at Whistling Straits. So I was working for the European side and doing social media hosting and videos, and it was just an incredible experience. Just to be, I'd never been to a Ryder Cup before, never been to Whistling Straits before, so to just be part of it and get to spend so much time with the team and learning about the inner workings. Obviously, it was not the result that Europe wanted, but just to be able to witness what the US team achieved that week as well. It was kind of scary for a European to see, because you're like, these guys are going to be playing on this team for a really, really long time, and they could dominate now going forward for 10 years. I mean, it was just an amazing experience from start to finish, and I really hope I get to go to Italy next year.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that'd be awesome. That would be an awesome experience for you.
So yeah, I would say Ryder Cup is up there with the best experience of all time.
And our other fan wants to know, are you surprised with Tiger Woods' withdrawal from the last tournament? And are you surprised that he's not competing in this tournament? And they want to know why is Tiger Woods keep coming back and then withdrawing at the same time?
Yeah, well, I mean, first of all, I'm not surprised that he is not playing in the US Open, and I'm not surprised that he withdrew before the final round at the PGA Championship, for two reasons. Starting with the PGA Championship, he was nowhere near contention, and on the Saturday you could tell that he. So I'm not surprised that he didn't play. There was nothing that he could gain from playing any more golf at the PGA Championship, so that was fine. And then I'm not surprised that he withdrew from the US Open, because US Opens are hard.
Yeah.
They are. It's known for being the toughest test of golf. And this course isn't as long as some US Open courses that we've seen. I mean, Tiger won at Torrey Pines with a broken leg, and it's over 7,600 yards. This is just over 7,200 yards. But it would be really difficult for him. And also, he said it himself that he didn't have enough time really to rehabilitate after the PGA. The other thing is that the Open Championship at St Andrews is such a big one. It's somewhere that he's had amazing success before. It's much more attainable for him to be able to walk and be healthy around. And I think he really sees it as an opportunity to go out there and win. I mean, I don't think he would be going over to play if he didn't think that he could win. So I think it was definitely the right decision. And I think as much as we would love to see him tee it up every week, the fans are going to love to see him play at St Andrews next month. So, I mean, I wasn't surprised at all.
Well, his son is about to compete on a high level pretty soon. His son is pretty good too, if you saw the videos.
Amazing. I mean, would you expect anything else?
Man, and he I don't know if you saw that video when he was dressed the same way as his father, and he almost hit that ball to the tee into the man. This kid is unbelievable.
They wipe their nose at the same time. Play with their hats.
Yeah, so heading into this U.S. Open this weekend, what are you most looking forward to seeing? Obviously, Rory McIlroy, and you got Jordan Spieth and some other great talent here. But what are you most looking forward to heading into the tournament?
I'm looking forward to seeing the course. I think the course is going to be an absolute beauty. It's a real classic American golf course, super private club, and you know, from all I have watched and heard from the guys this week, everyone's loving the country club at Brookline. So I'm looking forward to seeing the course. I love the fact that when it comes to all majors, but in particular the US Open, you really have the established names at the top of the leaderboard, and you just have to look at the people that have won it. John Ram won last year. Before that, Bryson DeChambeau, Gary Woodland, Brooks Koepka won 2 in a row, Justin Johnson.
Yeah.
So you have the real power players that traditionally win the US Open. I'm excited to see what Rory's going to do. He's my top pick this week after he won the RBC Canadian Open last week. So I'm definitely going to be rooting for Rory. But there's, it's not just about the big guys. There's a lot of really cool storylines at the US Open, and a lot of guys that have qualified and really, gone through so many rounds to qualify to be able to play in their national Open. So there's a lot to follow, but yeah, I just can't wait for it to get started. It's definitely one of my favorite tournaments all year.
Yeah, so we have another fan question. They want to know they want to know what are the biggest factors going into these picks before you make them.
A lot of research. I usually dedicate, I always watch the tournaments Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So always in my mind, I'm looking at form, who's playing well, who's going to be teeing it up the following week, what parts of their game are really working. And then I usually dedicate most of my Monday to getting some research done. And there's a lot. I usually start by just looking at the course and doing some research on the course. And then from that, you can usually tell the stats that are going to be important. And then I'll kind of dive into the numbers side of things. And, I obviously really am big into stats, but I like to go beyond that and affect them week after week. So it's definitely a process, and it's always hard for me to narrow it down. Some weeks I have like 20 guys that I want to pick. Some weeks I'm big on like 3 people, and I'm like, I need to find a few more. But I have a lot of fun with the top 5s and the top 10 finishes. So, but I picked Rory to win last week, so I was really happy about it. A lot of success, I think like 4 weeks before that in a row with my top 5 bets paying out. So it's it's a lot of work, but I'm very proud of the work that I put into finding these picks.
Well, you've been on fire so far with your picks. And Lauren and Jared mentioned it early on their show when you were on. And how do you feel about this? How do you feel about your picks coming into the tournament, the US Open?
Yeah, well, I'm going with Rory back to back, week after week. So hopefully he can keep everything going. I touched on it earlier, but this Live Golf Tour, and it's obviously we could dedicate a whole entire show to talking about everything that's going on with that. But in case you don't know about it, it's like the kind of rival tour that's backed by the CEO front of it all, and a lot of guys are moving over to Live Golf, meaning that they're going to be suspended from the PGA Tour. Now, the US Open is a different story because they're not governed by the PGA Tour, they're governed by the USGA. So the USGA said that anyone could play this week. But I think Rory, who's standing strong with the PGA Tour, I think he's just got a little bit of extra motivation knowing that the likes of Dustin Johnson and Bryson and Patrick Reed, and that they're playing in the field this week. I think Rory's going to have, after winning, obviously, a lot of confidence. Rory and Justin Thomas, I think, are my two top picks. But then, as I said earlier, great storylines like Matthew Fitzpatrick, the Englishman. He has been playing amazing golf, and he won the US Amateur on this course in 2013. So he's going to have a good bit of confidence heading into the week, just knowing that he's obviously had great success around this course before. But he's had like 5 top 10 finishes, tied for 5th at the PGA Championship just last month. So someone like Matt Fitzpatrick, I really like the look of too. And then Tony Finau, he's been...
That's a
great week. I love Tony Finau. Everyone wants to see him win a major, but he finished 2nd in Canada. Over the last 6 weeks, he's had like 3 top 10 finishes. He's really found good form, and his stats show that. Important stats this week are going to be driving the ball off the tee. Last week, he gained over 5 strokes on the field and over 6 strokes on the field putting. 2 parts of the game that are important week after week, but definitely at a US Open. So I like the look of Finau as well. I got him top 5 at 7-1. So
Tony Finau, his name has been going up on the boards lately, so keep an eye on him. And like you just said, and you see a situation where all these top golfers can battle it out till the end, and you see instance where all these top golfers will be in the top race, or do you see that happening here in the US Open?
Yeah, I think that, I do, definitely. I think we've just got so much talent at the top of the board on the PGA Tour right now. You have to look at, we haven't even talked about Scottie Scheffler.
Oh, yeah, Scottie.
Unbelievable. I mean, what he's doing in golf this year is just phenomenal. Obviously won the Masters. So Scheffler, Spieth, you mentioned, John Rahm. I mean, the breadth of talent. The breadth of talent is crazy at the tour, though, because there's so many big guys that are dominating, especially in the betting world. They're really at the top of the odds market. You're going to find a lot of high quality picks that are higher odds than you would usually see in the middle of the board. So I think like Corey Connors, I couldn't believe how high he was. And he played this course before at that 2013 US Amateur. So Xander Schauffele, I mean, there's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, this could be everybody. I think all my fans that are listening right now, and all the other people, you guys better be watching the U.S. Open this year. I think you got to buckle your seatbelt and get ready, get your popcorn ready. I think it's gonna be a good one right here this year.
Yeah, me too. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, so we have another fan question for you. They want to know how important is to have a caddy that you have to be on the same page, basically. So they want to know how important is it to have a caddy that you trust, that you believe in.
Yeah, I think so, and I think we see that week after week. I mean, Rory McIlroy is a great example. His caddy Harry is one of his best friends from high school. They've known each other forever. Harry wasn't on the bag last week though for the win in Canada because he was having his second child, so he was at home. But he's back on the bag this week. But I think there's definitely that trust. You have to have that. You have to be on the same page. You have to be on the same page personality wise as well. And I think different golfers are going to want different things from their caddy. And I mean, I can talk for my brother. He was looking for the caddy that he's got right now. They started working together last year, and he said, I love him. He's got so much energy. I need some. So I think everyone's probably got a list of different things that they're looking for in a caddy, but that relationship is key because you spend a lot of time with that person and you're going to have a lot of highs, hopefully, and some lows. Another great example is Scotty Scheffler, who started working with Ted Scott, who used to be Bubba Watson's caddy. They were together for years, and I think they kind of met and bonded through like a Bible study group that the PGA Tour offers. And I think they just clicked, and obviously it's worked because since they've been working together, Scotty not only got his first win, but he's been dominating. It's crazy. So yeah, I think it's a very important relationship, and I think it's one that it probably takes guys a while to figure out and establish, like anything.
Yeah, and then another fan wants to know, what is your routine going into before covering a big event like this? And you know how players have their own routine. So they want to know, what is your routine?
What is my routine?
Yeah.
Well, right now my routine is if I'm not going to a tournament, I am in the house. I wake up so early every morning anyway. I think especially now that I'm pregnant, I don't know what it is. It messes up your sleep right away. So and I have 2 dogs that like to be up nice and early. So I usually just get up early, play with them a little bit, get organized, tidy up, make breakfast, and then I'm usually in my office for most of the day. I'm lucky to have a really nice home office and can do pretty much everything from here. So it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are always my super busy days, and then Thursday, Friday, just a lot of golf watching and taking notes and kind of keeping up with what's going on.
Oh. Yeah, so I want to get to one guy. I don't know, I don't think no one is talking about him, but there's a guy from USA too named Dunlap. What do you think about him as a golfer?
What's his full name?
I bring up here right now. Hold on. Oh, Nicholas Dunlap.
I don't really know too much about him.
Oh, okay. It says here he's on the list for this tournament this weekend.
Okay. I don't really know anything about him. I can have a look quickly if you want.
Yeah.
Why do you mention him?
Let me ask you this: do you have any under the radar golfers that you keep an eye on, other than the top list?
The one guy that I was looking at this week. Oh, so Nicholas Dunlap is an American. It says American Junior Golf Association. So he must be relatively young. He probably qualified through this. Yeah, he just graduated actually. So yeah, I mean, amazing, good for him. Did you have a reason why you were looking out for him?
Yeah, because I've been one of my friends told me about him, and he said that's a name to keep an eye on this tournament. Okay. And young, like a young talented golfer that we should keep an eye on, that could maybe surprise everyone here. But one of my friends said keep an eye on Dunlap. So
okay, I love that. I'm just looking at what he's been doing. He obviously just graduated from University of Alabama.
Yeah.
But
I got one friend that used to go to Alabama, so he told me about him.
Okay, so there you go. Who was I looking at? I've looked at a few higher odds picks. Jason Kokrak, who's played on the tour for a long time, but he's like 130 to 1. Okay. And I looked at a combined stat this week of driving distance and accuracy, and he's 8th on the PGA Tour in that stat right now. Hasn't been playing all that great, but obviously it only takes 1 week to turn it around.
Yeah, so tell our fans how often do you so when you obviously trying to cover all these golfers, but do you try to how do you do it when you cover them? Like obviously each of them has different tee times. So what do you try to go early for the tee time, or wait for the later ones, or you just try to cover at once?
If I'm at a tournament, then I'll pick who I'm going to follow. Yeah. Certain points, and then at a golf tournament, the media center is amazing. There's like a huge leader you can watch, and it'll show you everything that's happening. The apps are always great. Yes. Like the US Open app is so good to follow along with. But when I'm at home, I'll just have it on TV all day. Okay. And again, Twitter is really good for keeping up to date with what's happening. But yeah, I'll just watch it all day. Like no matter what I'm doing, it'll be on in the background somewhere.
All right, one of our fans they want to know a scouting report on your brother. They want to know a scouting report on your brother Russell.
A scouting report. Well, Russell likes to chill out at home, so he's having 2 weeks at home right now, and then he'll go to the Travelers Championship next week, a tournament that he won in 2016. So he'll be very happy to be going back there. But yeah, he's been really happy with his game. Putting's always been his nemesis, but he's been working really hard at it and feels like he's definitely, playing better, putting better. So he's been having a really good year. He's sitting great in the FedEx Cup standings. I think he's about number 70 right now. So he doesn't have to worry about his losing his tour card next year, which is nice. So I definitely expect him to have a really strong end to the season.
So for you, out of all the courses you've been at so far, what would you say the best one is?
Well, Whistling Straits was amazing for the Ryder Cup, but I have been to the Masters a few times.
Wow.
So I have to say Augusta National. How can you not say that?
Nice.
But then there's so many, I'm from Scotland, obviously, and there's so many amazing courses in Scotland, maybe like kind of off the beaten track courses. There's a course called Royal Aberdeen that the Scottish Open has been at a few times. I really love it there. What other course? TBC Sawgrass, that's definitely the course that I know the best. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm lucky to have been to a lot of amazing golf courses, but it's very hard to beat Augusta National.
Hey, speaking of the Augusta National, what was it like covering the Masters, and what experience was that like for you?
Just amazing. The crazy thing about the Masters though is you're not allowed your cell phone inside. So normally, media people are like this.
Yeah.
We're glued to our phone all the time, so you're not there, and it's one of those things where you kind of get prepared in the morning, do any work that you have to do, then when you're on the course you can't do anything, so you almost have a bit of anxiety thinking I should be doing this, I should be doing that, and you just can't. So the plus side of that is you really get to kind of calm down and enjoy the golf and really take that all in. And then it's always a mad rush at the end of the day when you're back with your phone and your computer and you have to do all your work and get caught up. But it forces you in a good way to enjoy the golf and to take it all in. So it's but even not having your phone, you can't look at a leaderboard. You have to wait and see the leaderboards out there and find out what's happening where.
That's funny. And speaking of this tournament coming up here soon, what are you going to be doing? Getting ready for this? Obviously, being you have to be on the lob, or you obviously going to be home, right? Watching the tournament
for the US Open.
Yeah. So what are you gonna be doing to get ready for that?
Oh, obviously, today is my really busy day. So all of my main show that I do with a company called Secret Golf with Steve Elkington. We recorded our show the other day. It went live last night. So today a lot of it is going to be spent cutting up clips from the show, posting them on social media, just kind of making content before Thursday, Friday. Well, I'll do more work Thursday, Friday than I will Saturday, Sunday, but Elk and I will probably get together and record something else maybe at the end of Friday. So yeah, it's just being switched on all the time and knowing what's happening and just being ready for it.
Yeah, speaking of Secret Golf, actually I shared one of your episodes with Steven. What's that been like for you, working with him and having the platform where you can speak golf, and another platform to talk golf with Secret Golf? How's that been for you?
Great. That was my first job in golf when I moved over here, and I love working with Elk. He's just we have a great rapport. We know each other very well. He's just outrageously knowledgeable. So I learn so much from him every week. But yeah, I love working with him, and our show goes out. We have a podcast that goes out, and then our show goes out on YouTube, and then all of our social media platforms. So yeah, Secret Golf, look it up.
Yeah. So we have another fan question for you. What's your they want to know what's your go-to snack?
My go-to snack. Yeah. Well, right now, because I am pregnant, I'm eating literally everything in sight all the time. My appetite is out of control. So bagels, right now I cannot get enough bagels. I think because they're like really carby and they fill me up a little bit. Bagels and fruit. I eat a lot of fruit. Donuts, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, Uncrustable peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Oh my gosh, they are the greatest thing ever. So right now my diet is not what it usually is, but I'm feeding the baby, so
Yeah, more nutrients.
yes, that's my
And what music do you like to listen to just to decompose from work?
okay. I love all music. I worked in radio in
Oh
Scotland
wow,
for
yeah.
years, so I've always been around music. I actually have my Spotify up right now, and I'm listening to, what is this? It's like an 80s time capsule playlist.
Hmm.
So I like a lot of I can go from like listening to Drake 1 minute to
Yeah.
80s time capsule the next. And I have got more into country music since moving here. When I first moved to the US, I didn't know any of it.
Wow.
And when I met my husband in 2019, he loves country music. So he really got me into it. So I actually do appreciate it and enjoy it quite a lot now. But I have such an eclectic taste in music. I like anything and everything.
Hmm. And how often? Tell our fans how often do you visit Scotland? And obviously seeing a lot of golfers come there and compete in these competitions. What's that like for you seeing play competitive golfers from your country to come here to compete?
Yeah, it's great. Love Scotland. Obviously, it's always going to be my favorite place in the world. I haven't been since 2019, September 2019, just because of COVID and everything.
Yeah.
But hopefully, I'll go next year. We want to go maybe next March, April, and take the baby over and introduce him to
Yeah.
Scotland so everyone can meet him. But yeah, I'm very proud of my country, and Scottish people are very patriotic.
Yeah.
So especially when I'm out here and I see another Scottish person, I'm like, oh my gosh. And we'll always talk. It's like we're best friends immediately. So, obviously my brother is Scottish, and Robert McIntyre, he's a really well-known Scottish golfer that's playing more and more over here. So it's always great to see Scottish people in the US because we're all very proud.
And they know how to party also in Scotland.
Yes.
Yeah.
Scottish people know how to drink, that is certain.
Yeah. So before we get to the last two things, what advice would you give to young girls that are out there that are trying to try and get into the golf game like you? And there's a thing called girls golf that's been started here with the LPGa thing, and young talented girls are with that company. And so, what advice would you give them?
I would say, first of all, don't be put off,
Mhm.
especially if you turn up and there's more boys at the golf club than there are girls. Don't be put off. Like, you have to have confidence and know that you're there for a reason, because one, you love golf, and two, you want to play and get better. So have the confidence to really stand strong, especially when there's more boys than girls around you. But I think also find a mentor, find another female who can act as a bit of a mentor, maybe someone that's a little bit older than you, or even a group of girls that you can go and play with once a week, or that you can kind of keep in touch with and go out and either practice with or play some holes with. But I think it's definitely important to have some sort of a friend or a mentor that you can kind of buddy up with, and then you don't feel like completely alone. But yeah, I think just keep going, have the confidence to really go out there and give it a go, and don't stop.
Hmm. And the last few things here, our team is part of this foundation. It's called the Hugh Jackson Foundation. We're trying to help them prevent human trafficking, making sure the community stays safe, the kids stay safe. So we'll send you the foundation so you can go check it out. We're trying to prevent human trafficking. It's so horrible out there what we're seeing. So
Oh my gosh, yeah, no, please send that to me, I would love to see it.
yeah, and the last thing here, would you like to say anything to all the nurses, doctors, and all the essential workers right now?
Oh my gosh, I know, everyone's still going through the effects of everything. I mean, I think that the position that the world is in right now just seems
Yeah.
to be getting crazier and crazier. And obviously COVID was such a difficult time for everyone, and I can't even imagine what it was like to be working on the front line and to be working in healthcare and see such devastation all the time, and panic. There was so much unknown. But yeah, they're the real heroes. I mean, God, we can talk about golf and sport and whatever, but really we're not. I mean, what are we doing in the grand scheme of things? So I think anyone that is involved in sort of healthcare frontline position,
Yeah.
they're the ones that are really out there saving lives and making a huge difference.
Yeah. So would you like to plug anything to our fans, where they can find you on social media, where they can follow your podcast, and what should they be looking out for you when it comes to the US Open this?
Oh, well, I just want to say thank you for having me on, and thank you for everyone who asked questions. That was really unexpected and very nice. If you're on Instagram, I'm at Diane Knox Balas. Balas is Balas. And then on Twitter, I'm at Noxy Diane. So you can find me there. And then Secret Golf, follow along. Pixwise is who I was working with today with Jared and Lauren. But if you follow my social media, I'll always tweet about all the places that I'm working, all the different platforms, so you can find them all there too.
Yeah, well said. And there it is. Go follow Diane Knox Balas, a talented, amazing, inspiring golf analyst, a podcaster, TV host. She does everything. She's all over the place. She, like I said, she's amazing, and go follow her. And like everyone, go watch the U.S. Open. This is gonna be a fun, fun weekend of golf. And Diane, I just want to say thank you again, and thank you to our fans for tuning in and asking questions to her. Amazing interaction here. We would love to have you back on the show so you can meet the full team at some point down the line. I know you're busy right now, but at some point down the line. But keep up the great work. Congrats to you and your husband again on the baby boy that's coming. And I saw, and you have cute dogs, by the way. So, but
very cute dogs.
but keep up the great work and keep killing it. And we love what you do. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks again for having me on. I would love to come back anytime and meet the rest of the gang. But thank you. I really appreciate it.
Anytime.
Thank you.